Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families, and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
A gorilla bear versus polar bear.
A what bear versus a what bear?
A gorilla bear versus a polar bear. Polar bear.
One more time.
Gorilla versus a polar bear. What the hell is a gorilla bear?
Weekdays from 1 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. On the Block with Strick and Austin.
The Macho Man. That's how my voice, I feel like, sounds right now. If I sound like Randy the Macho Man all day, don't worry about it, baby. It'll be okay.
Randy Savage, Eric Strickland.
A little correlation.
I've never seen you and Randy Savage in the same room together.
Little correlation.
All
I have to do is just dress up real funky, like with some glasses, a nice little hat.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking.
isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age?
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career is difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills, make connections, you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at FM.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Deep End with Nebraska diver Reagan Hinzig and Nebraska swimmer Madison Ronquillo on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I am Harrison Arns here with Reagan Hinsey from Nebraska Swim and Dive Team. Well, we will have Madison here shortly. I was informed that she's getting done running the half marathon, so she might be pretty winded when she comes in here regardless. But nonetheless, we do have Reagan here in the meantime. And Madison, just kind of depends when that all gets done. Sounds like she's done running the race. I'm curious to see how that went. And then, again, if you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and Allo channel.
Mother's Day is on Sunday, May 14th.
Excuse that. We'll turn that back down. But again, you guys, plenty of ways to join the show. Feel free to do so, as it's just me and Reagan in here right now, but we will be joined by Madison here shortly. But in the meantime, how's it going? We were talking before the break. Would you ever consider doing a half marathon? Or a full one, even if you're really feeling it?
Oh, not for the foreseeable future. I can barely run a mile without panting like a dog. So
what's your best mile time? Do you know?
6.5.
Oh, you can get under 7 though. So maybe it'd probably be something you have to really work on for a while.
My best mile time is from 8th grade. So
if you got that in 8th grade,
because I ran cross country in 8th grade.
Okay. So you've been, because you usually run, what is it, 5K for cross country, 3.1 miles for every event?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you just never fell in love with running? Because you went out for cross country. What was the reason for originally going out for cross country?
To stay in shape.
Oh, just to stay in shape?
Because in junior high, I did a bunch of sports. I did volleyball, basketball, track, cross country, diving. I did all of those. So I had to be in shape. So I just did cross country to get that extra.
That's probably a good one.
Yeah.
But I remember it was there's one year I was just thinking about not going out for football. I was going to do cross country. And then I think I did a couple of practices and I was like, nah, I'm just going to keep playing football. It's brutal. I don't know what the practices were like for you guys, but it is what you can imagine. It's just a lot of conditioning. Was there ever a sport before you really got into diving that you were thinking about maybe going the other way?
I liked track.
Track?
But I didn't never, which is weird because, okay, I liked track and cross country actually, but it was also the Texas heat because cross country is like for junior high, cross country is like as soon as school starts. And so it's 115 degrees and 100% humidity.
Yeah, that sounds pretty brutal. I was looking at the weather. It's pretty nasty down in Texas, I think, all week right now. I mean, you have family down there. I'm sure that you could tell me more, but I think, like, aren't they sitting in the 90s already?
I can look.
Yeah, it's only May, and you're sitting in the heat of the 90s. There's a few times where it's nice to be in Lincoln. We get the wind, but I'll take the mid 80s to 70s.
It's supposed to rain all week, but it's supposed to be high 80s all week too.
That's sticky out there. Does it get super humid down south in Texas?
All the time, because we're by the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So it's disgusting. Like you walk outside and like your breath gets taken away, and like it's not like an Arizona dry heat where you walk outside after just taking a shower to go get the mail, and by the time you're back, your hair's already dry.
Yeah.
It's like your hair will not dry because it's so humid, but then it's like sizzling on you because it's so hot.
I could see that. What's worse then? Would you take the peak? Because I feel like Nebraska gets humid, but it's only towards later, like harvest, when you got all the ears of corn. That's a huge reason why it gets super humid. What's worse? Because you've been here long enough. The peak of Nebraska humidity or your everyday Texas humidity?
Texas.
Not even close?
Not even close.
I don't want to go down to Texas. For a while there, I thought I'd want to go to like Austin and go live down there.
Fine, but I live an hour and a half away from an ocean.
Oh, yeah. So you're very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a very sticky situation.
I wouldn't say a nice ocean. Like, I don't recommend going there, but it's still an ocean nevertheless, or it's a gulf.
Do you ever have any thoughts of like maybe one day going back home to Texas? Is that where you want to be forever, or is that all still up in the air?
I haven't really thought about it. I potentially like grad school, because North Texas has a really good music program.
Okay.
Like one of the top in the nation. But I've never thought about like living in Texas, like for the rest of my life.
You're one of those people where you just don't want to live there. It's kind of where you grew up. You're ready to move on.
Yeah. I actually got asked this question earlier this week, and the East Coast kind of sounds enticing.
East Coast too. I've always kind of thought about doing that. That's always one where it's what me and my girlfriend always talk about when you're just like bored, like where would you want to move? We always like the Carolinas.
Okay.
But I feel like it used to be Nashville at one point in time, but Nashville is just crazy rush right now. There's a ton of people going to Nashville to live there.
I thought about Washington State for a while.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one too much.
Or like the Oregon, Washington, like that area. I thought about that for a while.
I think Idaho would be a good one too. I think Idaho's slept on. You go up into those regions, the little, like you still kind of get some of the mountains, some of the beautiful regions, but you're not in like a super densely populated area. Like, I don't know, at least for me growing up, I used to want to go live like out on the West Coast. Don't want to be anywhere near there anymore. Used to want to be in Chicago. Definitely don't want to do that anymore. Just like weather-wise, way colder. Like I think I'm leaning closer to the coast, or I might just end up in Lincoln at this point. I don't know. I have this job here. I'm pretty much done with school, so I'm just chilling. But with your master's, how far have you looked into that? I know Nebraska, it's still a possibility for you to get your master's here, but is Texas just have the better program? Is that why you're looking at them?
Well, I still like currently reside in Texas. Like that's where my address is. So I'd still get in-state tuition in Texas for grad
that'd
school,
be nice.
which is a perk. But yeah, I haven't really looked at Nebraska for grad school just because I want to experience new things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's bad, but like, especially in music, like you want to get as much experience as you can. And I feel like going other places gets you more experience. So I thought about like, the Ukrainian song that I sang that that I talked about, the lady that came and like taught me the Ukrainian piece, it teaches at a school in upstate New York.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where I thought like the Connecticut area is where I would ideally want to go to grad school, but I still have a couple years, so I haven't like really thought into it.
Yeah, you got a little bit of time, but I can definitely see that, especially if you're going to that Northeast region. Like that's a lot more embedded into their culture.
Yeah.
Like around the Midwest, that unless you're whipping out, some country tunes, it's a little harder to sell. But nonetheless, again, if you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. It's just me and Reagan right now, but we will have Madison joining us here shortly. But what's it kind of been with you? I know last time we talked, did you go ahead and give your test yet? Whether we had to memorize the songs and You had to sing them all?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how'd that go?
I did it.
Did they pick, because they just pick one out of random, right? Were you happy with the one out of random they selected for you?
Yeah, they picked my 55-second piece.
Okay, nice.
So, but technically I haven't done it yet, but I did the mock. Like in class, we'd do like a mock jury.
So you get a nice little trial before you actually get graded on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's a relief.
So I started with one of my French pieces, and then my class gets to pick the second piece. So I like printed out a bunch of papers and like had like all the options up there, and they picked my 55-second check piece, and I was like, cool. And I'm pretty sure in my lesson on Tuesday, she's gonna be my teacher's gonna be like, yeah, they're not gonna do that, like, because I picked a French art song, which is like text is a poem. But then I'm pretty sure the second piece they're going to pick is an aria, which is like the big moment in an opera, like when she's like, oh, I've decided to marry him, or, oh, I'm going to die. Like, it's like her singing about death, basically, or like love. One of the two, always.
And that's what we talked about too. It's your job to reflect that on your face and in your pitch and tone.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you? Because I know that's been a point of emphasis for you, and it sounds like you're getting better, but how is that progress going?
So I had a performance on Tuesday for the entire voice, like not just the faculty, but like all the voice students too. And I sang my piece, and it was really just like 3 lines of music, like 3 lines of words in German, which basically was like, rest peacefully, my beloved, like all this jazz. And so like there are like the parts where I'm like, oh, I have to act like scared of like what happens if I lose him and all that jazz. And I sat back down after my performance, and all the sophomores sit together, because I'm technically a sophomore music student.
Right.
And I sit down, and they all went, you were giving face. And I'm like, yes, that's all I cared about. So I think it's going well.
Yeah, it sounds like you're getting figured out. If they're saying you're giving face, then it looks like you're doing a better job on that. How do you get ready for those pieces? Are you listening to other music outside of it to kind of get a broader like idea of that genre? Or are you just listening to those songs kind of on repeat, trying to memorize what they're saying? Or is there like a variety of songs you kind of go to listen to figure out that genre?
It's a little bit of both. So if it's an aria, it's from an opera. So like if you have an aria, you should watch the opera just to know like what's going on. And then, but a lot of the time, like right now, I have my Rep Spring 2023 playlist on Spotify, and I just listen to that all the time. It's actually my French aria is my most listened to song of the year currently. So it's just trying to get those memorized, because my French aria has a lot of words. So
Is that you use Spotify, you said?
Yeah.
When you normally get your collective bargain back, or what do you call it, your Spotify wrapped up, what's your number one song? Do you remember?
Okay, so usually it's Cold by Boy in Space.
Okay.
It has been for the past 3 years.
Going strong for 3 years.
But since I've been a music student, it's kind of been like creeping up. Like my repertoire pieces have been like creeping up.
Yeah,
the list.
sneaking in.
So I feel like, okay, so for the past month, my top piece was my French aria. My second piece was my musical theater piece. And there were 2 songs. One was Emotion Sickness and one was Favorite Liar by the Rex. And the rest of them were my repertoire pieces. So I think this year, Cold by Boy in Space is going to get beat out by one of my repertoire pieces.
The 3-time champ back to back is going down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing. I guess it's for school, right? So, but now that we got a full room here, let's go ahead and bring Madison into the mix.
How are you feeling?
You don't look super tired. I'm impressed.
I'm in pain.
Okay. Well, you're hiding it well.
Pain. I have a fat blister under my foot, though.
Ow!
So for those who are tuning in right now, Madison just walked in the room. I'm surprised. I thought she'd be walking in out of breath, but she's actually got her breath there. Just some pain going on. But she just got done running the half marathon, right? Not the full?
Yeah. Oh, just the half.
Just the half?
Yeah.
How was the time on that? Were you going for time, or were you just going for completion?
I was just going for completion.
Okay.
The first one I did it over spring break. I went for time. So this one was just more so for funsies to complete it. And so it was a little bit slower. I was right at the 2-hour mark. But no, it was really fun.
Did you walk at all?
No.
Nice.
No, I did not. I mean,
impressive.
The last couple miles were definitely like a walk, but it wasn't walking. So, yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah, I was telling Reagan before you got here. I left this morning, and then I was like, hey, if I leave, an extra 20 minutes, 15 minutes early, like that should be fine. That should be plenty of time to still get to work on time. I was cutting it so close. I had to call Pete Ferguson on the first show, and I was like, yeah, I am stuck behind these runners. It's a gridlock. So if you're out there, well, I suppose now it's a lot more cleared up, but you got to remember, don't leave 20 minutes early. Don't leave 30. You got to leave like 40 minutes early because it was gridlock going both ways. I had one of those moments where I'm sitting there and I just see blocked of cars going. Some people are going right. Some people are going left. And I'm like, I'm just going to have to hope and pray here. But no, we still had the show. So if you go to ticketfm.com, we still got a solid 45 minutes of content. It's all up there for you. But yeah, nonetheless, pay attention to when that's happening because you do not want to get stuck behind that. How was the crowd? It looked like it was pretty nice weather. I saw a lot of people watching when I was driving up this morning.
Yeah, the weather honestly could not have been more perfect. There was some concern in the beginning because of the thunderstorms.
Yeah, but it kind of rolled off.
Yeah. But no, there were a ton of people cheering, and like there wasn't a single spot where it was just like dead. It was literally people at all the way along.
So what time did you start your run?
I think it was like 7:15 because we were in Corral F. So like they released people like every 30 seconds or something.
Oh, so you took off at the perfect time because it was still nice and cool outside at that point. It wasn't even like really too humid yet.
Yeah. And the sun didn't come out until I was at mile 7, and then the sun came out.
That's awesome. So what you said, you're in pain. What's hurting? I know you got a blister going on right now.
It's my hips.
Oh, they're just tight.
That makes sense.
Like the hips and the hip flexors, because the hips are not used to any form of compact. So, I mean, it definitely feels a lot better than last time because last time my knees were in pain. But this time, no. My knees are pretty good. Hanging on. It's just the hip flexors and the hips.
Do you normally get knee pain?
No. But but I've gotten better as I keep running, and then just the joints get used to it.
How much have you trained for this?
No. Probably not as much as I should have. I mean, last week I did, I want to say 5 miles on Monday and then 6 miles on Wednesday. And then I called it good. So I've only been running twice a week and just doing pure bar.
That's not bad though. You're also coming off a season. So it's not like, if I were to go and run it with only doing that much, I'd probably be hurting way more.
Oh yeah, I'd be right there with you.
Yeah, I'm just not.
I'd be dying. I'm not a cardio sport. I'd be right there with you.
Did you ever get a runner's high at some point, or was it painful the whole way through?
No, I did get a runner's high. It was right at I want to say mile 8.
Okay, nice.
But that's when we were going along Highway 2, just following that windy path right alongside, and the sidewalk was really narrow. So at that point I kept getting stuck behind people, and I'm like, man, come on guys, let's move it, because I was on my high. But
yeah, once your legs start moving and you're not even thinking about it anymore, you just got that steady rhythm with every footstep. As soon as you get people in front of you where you got to step on the brakes, it'll just throw you out of it so fast.
Yeah.
Did you, Cece, and Rachel try to stick together, or?
We stuck together in the very beginning, when we started. But then after that, both Rachel and Cece took off.
So
I lost them.
Who won between the three of you?
Rachel.
Do you know what she finished?
She went 157.
Oh, she got under 2. That's impressive.
Yeah, and then Cece, she had a deal with Pat where he was like, "You can do it, but you can't. Don't hurt yourself, and don't do it to the point where you sacrifice what you've been working for in the pool with doing so much endurance stuff." But so she just took it nice and slow, and she came in at 2:12 or something.
That's pretty good. Still, that's pretty impressive considering I don't know what you guys all did for training, but I just know it's a hell of a lot better than I probably would have pulled. So good job to you guys. And again, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. If you guys ran the half marathon or marathon, go ahead and put your name and tell us your time, or even a funny story, anything that happened on there. Sound like it was a great crowd. So definitely feel free to join the conversation as we're talking about the Lincoln Marathon today, half marathon, either or. But yeah, just really, really great day for it. I want to say last year it was not as nice. Wasn't it cold last year?
Freezing.
Yeah, I want to say it was rainy, almost sleet kind of weather.
Because you had your winter coat on in your picture holding up a sign.
Yeah, I was wearing boots and sweatshirt and winter coat trying to cheer on Cece. Yeah.
So how would you what was the favorite part of today's race?
I I say reading everybody's signs. There were some good signs on there.
What's it? You got a favorite?
There was one that said "Don't trust a fart after mile 5."
Oh my god.
That's funny. And then there's other ones where it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 13.1. Or all the little kids had like the mushrooms in Mario Kart.
Yep.
They drew that up and they'd be like tap for a power up.
Oh, that's cute.
So yeah, some cute ones.
Reagan, is this I know we talked about it. You said no, I'm out this year. Is this something you'd ever want to do again? Because we talked a little bit. You used to do cross country and you used to kind of like track. Do you ever want the title of I've ran a marathon?
I've walked a marathon. But that sounds really cool. Like not a lot of people can say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I can see it now, but I think I can see it at some point in my life.
Okay.
Of doing a half or even a full. I don't know about I can't even picture a full in my life right now, but I can picture a half at some point.
Okay. I will say I wouldn't wait for that some point to be in the 40s because it's really not going to want to do it at that point.
Yeah. I just can't see it right now.
That's fair enough. Plus, you're also just kind of coming off a season. I wouldn't be super eager to dive my toes into, an entire new hobby. And especially if you're running a full marathon, that takes a lot of training. So, Madison, with your training, you said you ran, a few times beforehand. Were you nervous going into today's half marathon, or were you pretty comfortable being like, I'm not worried. I'm going to finish it?
No, I wouldn't say I was worried. I felt like I was like pretty confident.
Did you get anxious?
No.
Even though, okay. Sometimes I get anxious even if it's not timed. Just like being in a group of people waiting for the start. Like even if I'm not competing for anything, I'll just get anxious because I'm like, I just want to go. Like I don't want to sit still. I just want to go.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. I think it helps like having Cece and Rachel, but I also like the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I like the feeling of the crowd. I think that makes me less anxious because like it's different from like swimming when like you're you're the only one in the pool and in the lane and like you're the only one. I don't want to say like feeling the same pain because you got other people swimming the event, but like it's a different type because like you're the only one standing behind the blocks. Whereas with this, like I feel more like, oh, we're doing this all together.
So when you were running with a group, were you more comfortable at the front of the little clump, or were you more comfortable at the back?
At the back.
Okay.
We started at the back. Yeah.
Did you move groups quite a bit? Or did you find a group that you sat with in that for most of the race?
No, I didn't find anybody. I either passed them or they passed me.
Okay. Before we go to break here, because I always love hearing this, because I feel like there's always one or maybe a few people. Was there a point when you're running when you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she's passing me. I need to, or he or she, where it's like some 80-year-old that's just kicking your butt. Was there a moment where you're like, I need to pick it up here?
At the very end.
Oh, really?
At the very end, running up 10th Street through downtown. There's this old lady came up behind me. I said, not today.
Said grandma's coming up the rear.
Yeah.
Shout out to those people that are like, seriously, you look at them and they're like, okay, you're really old for this. And then they go out there and they just dominate most of the crowd. And you're like, don't ever let me judge you again, because there's some impressive people out there.
Yep.
But nonetheless, we better go to break here. This is The Deep End. I'm Harrison here with Reagan and Madison. Madison, who just got done with the Lincoln Half Marathon. And Reagan, who's here to join me for the first studio instead of bailing on me. Like, no, I'm just kidding. No, plenty of show ahead. We're going all the way up until 12 o'clock. Be sure to chime in. Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. We'll be back right after this break.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book club? Cooking clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over. Nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th Pine Lake.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seating mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and pets. Whether a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandtogether.org to learn how to your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
This is Jay Foreman. Football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco dado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay. Playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter, and the time you do have has been filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Association and this station.
Back to the D with Reagan and Madison. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns pushing the ones and twos. We got Nebraska Swim and Divers, Reagan Hinsey, and Madison Ronquillo, all here with us going all the way up until 12 o'clock. And if you want to join the show, Sartor Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and Allo channel 951. So plenty of ways to join the show. And again, if you ran the Lincoln Half Marathon, feel free to text and kind of let us know your story, even a funny sign. Reagan had some pretty good ones that she remembered. So definitely feel free to do so. But since we got a little bit of time here on this break, Madison, what do you have planned next? I feel like that was kind of your biggest thing you had planned here as far as athletically, or do you have any more plans for participating in more runs down the road? Or is this something you want to continue to do every year? Or is it just one last time while I'm here in Lincoln?
Yeah. My parents asked me that question yesterday. I think this is the last time for a while, just because like I had to force myself to run last week. Like it wasn't because I wanted to, it's because like,
oh really? Let's
do it so we don't die. So, I mean, like if I don't want to force myself. I'm at the point where it's like, if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it when it comes to working out, at least. So I do want to try spin cycling because I want to try that too. My sister's getting into it and she really likes it.
Was it like a spin class?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I go to Bozeman next week for her graduation, she got me like a free class pass.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go try that out. So that might be my new next adventure.
You're kind of just trying out a bunch of things right now.
Mhm.
You did your bars class, your hot yoga class, now you're gonna try spin class.
Yes.
She gotta figure out what she likes.
Have you
No.
figured out what you like yet?
I'm not done.
Oh, that's right. True. During the summer, though, I mean, I suppose you'll just keep working on what you normally do.
During the summer, we train 6 hours a day.
Yeah, that's
She-
a lot.
she don't got
You got
time
6
for it.
hours. You do 6 hours a day during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a job. I didn't realize you guys
Uh-huh.
put in that many hours over the summer every day,
Mm-hmm.
5 days a week.
Mm-hmm. And then 3 on Saturday.
The summer is dangerous because there's no
Yeah, you get no
NCAA regulations. It's all technically optional.
I was gonna say, so like, what about the student athletes that want to go home? I mean, obviously they have but do they like tell them to do things while they're at home, like give them a
Yeah.
certain workout schedule to follow?
Well, it's not just that. A lot of the time, usually people only go home freshman year, like after their freshman year, and then they stay the rest of the summers. But I mean, the coaches can give them workouts to do and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to do the workouts, or it's up to them to stay active. Like I personally, like, if you don't want to dive, don't dive, but at least do something like remotely that will keep like your air awareness. Like, so at least go to like an open gym for like gymnastics and jump on the trampoline or something.
Mhm.
Like, just stay active. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but it's up to the person.
And then, like you said, the coaches, they're not like marking down everything. It's just like they want you to be there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's if you go home, it's not like they can log your workouts.
Right.
So
That's interesting. I did not realize you guys put in that. I figured you'd still go with your summer workouts, but that's a lot of workouts. 6 hours a day.
yeah.
So what else do you got planned for the summer other than working out?
I'm working at Hillcrest Country Club as the dive coach for the little kids, like the 7-year-olds.
How much experience do you have coaching?
I've been coaching for a year and a half
Okay.
for the club team.
What's the biggest challenge of coaching people that young?
The mental aspect?
Like just attention span, you mean?
No, I mean, like when you tell them to learn like an inward dive and you're facing backwards and flipping forwards, like your head is literally rotating towards the end of the board. It's scary.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to get them to like trust you and like saying over and over, if I didn't think you could do this, I wouldn't have you doing it right now and stuff like that. And like if they do smack, they never want to do it again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's getting that fear. That's the hardest part, is getting over that fear.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that fear yourself then? Because I imagine even if you're older, you go through a smack like that, it's still going to be challenging to pick up that dive.
Yeah, I mean, I've smacked a lot in my day. You kind of, I wouldn't say you get used to it, but 1 and 3 meter don't hurt as much as in like after you've smacked on 10 meter.
That's a good point.
So 1 and 3 meter don't feel that bad, especially like when you're older. People are like, try this dive, and you're like, what? No, and they're like, it's 1 meter. Come on, it's 3 feet off the water.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're older, you just have to like you've developed that thick skin when it comes to smacking, so you just have to like send it.
At what age did you feel like your thick skin like really set in? More like, yeah, some dives are always going to be scary, but like anything off the 1 meter, you're just like, yeah, let's try it.
Probably my freshman year of high school, is
Okay.
because that's when I really like started training. Like, okay, I can actually do this. So that I guess that's when I realized that. And then I wasn't like high school is when I stopped doing all the other sports. So that's when I like put all of my attention into diving. So that's when I needed to start getting better. So I just had to kind of be like, okay, let's go. So.
And then Madison, I was going to ask you this. I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but was there a point in time where you thought about going on to the diving side as opposed to just being a swimmer?
No.
Never,
No.
never a question.
Just for the inner squad.
We didn't have any diving near me.
Oh, really?
Diving's
So it wasn't
not-
even an option.
No, it's not very popular in California, I would say. I mean, like in the places where they do have platforms and they do have springboards, yes.
Mission
but
Viejo.
Mission Viejo, Clovis,
Yeah.
Fresno area. Those are probably the only platforms in the entire state. And even at like the high school swimming championships and stuff, diving wasn't there. None of the high schools in the local area had diving. There were no club diving. So yeah, I mean, like, I wish I think it would have been cool to try it,
Mhm.
especially because I did do gymnastics. But I think part of the reason why I quit gymnastics was because I didn't like the flipping, or like I'd always see stars and I'd be like, I'm scared. So, yeah.
A question. Okay, do you get this question a lot too? When people are like, "Oh, what team are you on?" I'm like, "Oh, swim and dive," and they're like, "Oh, so like, what events do you swim?" Or like stuff like that, or they're like, "Oh, so you do both?"
Mm.
Like, I'm like, "No, it's like track and field, where like,
Yeah, it's part of the name.
if you're a field athlete, you only do jumps. Like, if you're a jumper, you really only do jumps."
Mhm.
And they're like, "Oh, so what event do you swim?" And I'm like, 6 feet to get out of the water, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's a good way to compare it, like track and field. You
Yeah.
know, if you say track and field, you don't assume that person is running the 2 mile and then throwing shot put.
Yeah.
You know, it's you imagine. But yeah, again, it's that's just something you don't really think of. And again, if you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. I wanted to ask, you know, we talked to this a little bit about Reagan, and I think you might even answer this one time before, but was there ever a point growing up over in high school when you're out in California when there's a fork in the road to where maybe I want to do this or I'm going to dive in and all on swimming? Was it always swimming, or was there something else at one point in time that you thought you might switch gears?
I did do water polo for a little bit when I was still doing like the summer rec league for swimming, and I really liked that. And not gonna lie, I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I took like a year off of swimming, doing only water polo.
Oh, so you were really into it.
Yeah, like we were into it, and we would go and do tournaments, and like we traveled down south for Junior Olympics one year, but there wasn't much opportunity in the sport either because so California, you have the Bay Area, which is like San Francisco, Oakland, and like, you know, they got club teams for every sport. But I lived in the Valley, and in the Valley, there weren't very many. I mean, you had the basic sports of like football, baseball, basketball, softball was really big, soccer, but there weren't very many club sports like for
those niche sports
like that. There was one club for water polo, but that would have had to be me driving like an hour and a half away for practices. And swimming always was just kind of like, I don't want to say like my only option, but it was
something you're good at that you know you can maybe fall back on.
Yeah, something I was good at, and it was right there. Like it was in my city. There was a club team. It was a smaller club team, but there was like enough people on it to like make it worthwhile, and there were good coaches. So like it was kind of just like the best option.
Okay.
And like if I tried to go a different route, it would have just been way too hard, and like it would have been more work than needed.
Yeah, you're gonna be making 2 hours on the road every day just to get to your water polo events. What was your favorite thing about water polo? I did not realize you did water polo. When I look at that sport, when I watched it in the Olympics, because like you said, it isn't super widespread, but in the Olympics you do get to turn that on, and I think I would drown in there. It's chaos. It is
so fun.
absolute chaos
it is so
in there.
Fun.
Yeah, it's very, very fun. But I think also one of the reasons why I was so good at it was because I could swim.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
I had that like background kind of, but water polo is just a whole different breed. Like I would probably it's unlike any other sport because when it comes to there's the physical aspect of like when you're guarding someone, like your hand is like wrapped in the strap of their suit, and like you're not going like
so you actually grab onto them.
Oh yeah, like you would like I would like tuck my fingers underneath their strap, and you like rest your elbow on their chest. So like it would be like strap, elbow on the chest like this, and like you're trying to egg beat down onto them to like kind of basically drown them.
Yeah.
And
you want to float, and you want to make them keep you afloat.
Yes.
I think the scariest aspect of water polo is not knowing when you're going underwater.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And plus too, like the way that you egg beat, like your legs can get tangled up and you get kicked, and then plus you only have to you can only touch the ball with one hand at all times. And so there's the coordination aspect, and then the endurance of going back and forth. And
how long is a water polo event?
It's different.
Does it break it up into periods, or was it just one quarters?
Yes.
Okay, so you got 4 quarters.
Yeah, 4 quarters and a halftime.
How long are the quarters? Do you remember?
It was,
and that for high school, it probably changes depending on the competition.
I want to say it was like 8 minutes. but then like it's like a 30-second break in between the quarters and then a 2-minute break in between for halftime.
See, I just imagine fighting for my life for 8 minutes and then just like, please give me 30 seconds so I can catch my breath again. Did you ever have any moments where like you got a nasty blow, not saying that it was intentional, but you had like a serious, not super serious, but serious injury enough to where you had to get out of the water?
No, but I specifically remember this story. One time I actually did that to someone.
Okay.
I was swimming for the ball and you kind of want to like swim high elbows to prevent them from reaching around you. And I was swimming high elbows. I had the ball in front of me and apparently I like smacked back and like hit the girl in the nose. And all of a sudden the other team's like screaming at me. Yeah. And like the coaches and I'm like, what? And they like blew the whistle and you're supposed to stop. And I was like, what happened?
You didn't even feel it.
I didn't feel it, but apparently the girl was just like distraught.
You broke
over
my
it.
nose.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there like looking around. I'm like, what happened? But so yeah.
Well, from the text line, kind of fitting into your little story here, Crowbait says, I feel like there are a lot of cheap shots in water polo.
Definitely, probably more so on the boys' side.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine like it just happens a lot, like you said, unintentionally. I mean, you're flailing around, staying afloat because you can't touch the bottom. You got to stay afloat the whole time. People are leaning on you, so you don't drown. You have to work twice as hard to stay afloat. I feel like it probably does happen a lot of cheap shots, but I feel like a lot of them they're not intentional.
Yeah. Plus, and when you watch like the Olympic people, they're a lot better at not being on top of each other, kind of thing. Like they're a little more conservative with the aggressiveness because they have the skill.
Yeah.
The skill of like the passing and like knowing how to like get away from people better.
So what's the defense from keeping someone from grabbing your jersey and getting on top of you like that?
Just basically your size and
you're
being
just
able
pushing them
to
off.
Push them off, and you don't like keep your hand on them at all times. Like when the ball gets near, then you get closer. So just timing it right. When the ball is far, that's when you start creeping away, and then the speed aspect comes into that. Like, because if you can swim away from the person, then you have a better chance of getting away from them. But then again, you swim away, they grab your ankle and pull you right back. So
that sport sounds terrifying for someone like me. Reagan, would you ever do water polo since you're more comfortable with the water?
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like you'd be a pretty good water polo player?
Yeah.
So what positions are there in water polo? I'd be honest, I don't really know.
So the formation is a 3 on. So you have like, say you have the goal over here, 3 and 3.
Okay.
So you have the wings, the 2 outside on both sides. You have the center, and then you have point at top. So when you like say you get the ball, your whole team goes down. The person at point starts with the ball, and the person in the center is fighting the entire time to get. The goal is to get their whoever's defending them on their back. You're facing, so you have their back to the goal, have your defender on your back so that you have open water in front of you, pass the ball, and then since you're the closest person to the goal, you have the best chance of shooting it.
Okay.
So the goal is to get it to the center, but then you have the wings and the point passing it back and forth.
So you're kind of playing an inside-out game until you get that one shot to open up for you.
It's very similar to basketball.
Yeah, kind of. That's what it sounds like. You're throwing it into the high post, and you got the wings around, and you're just trying to move the ball around to get that open look.
Yeah, and it's like called like around the horn. So they yell out around the horn, and you just keep passing it.
So it's your water polo team. You're the GM. Reagan wants to join your roster. What position are you putting her
in? I'd have to.
Or does she make the team? No.
Wait, you're lefty. You're a lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be wing.
Is that a super big benefit?
Yeah, lefties are like a rare, like the gem of water polo, because when you're on the wings and you're on the left side, you have you're on the right side. Hold on, let me think.
Do you want it as if like you're on the outside and your outside hands?
Yeah.
So you're on the left side.
Yes, left side. Yeah, and you try to throw that with your right hand, it's easier to get it smacked out of your hand.
Okay.
Because of the angles.
Makes sense. So Reagan be on the left wing.
Yep.
Nice. I'd be a powerhouse.
You'd be the secret weapon.
That's true.
I like that.
But yeah, what position were you, real quick, before we go to break here? Then
I was point.
You were point. So you're like essentially like a point guard. I feel like you can really break this down into basketball terms.
Yes.
Interesting. Were you always the point? Or did they try you around in a few positions before you settled in?
I was always point. I was too small to be center,
Mm.
and then I could swim down the pool fast enough to like get in the spot where we needed to be.
So is your center just like your bruiser? Just someone in there that like is way too strong to push around?
Yeah.
I kind of want to go to a live water polo event now. Like just talking
I
about
think it'd
this.
be fun to watch.
It
Like,
would be.
You'd just be like, I feel like my jaw would be on the floor the whole time.
Yeah, I
Just
want
like,
a camera
they
for under
can
the water.
do that?
Yeah, you would have to know what you're looking for because a lot of the stuff happens underwater.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you could like have like a window.
Well, at the Olympics, there is an underwater camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like at the Vanny, there's an underwater window.
If you want to go into the haunted hallway.
Yeah.
You guys have a haunted hallway?
Not a lot of people go through there, but there is an underwater window in the diving well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, maybe we'll save that for the next segment because we're at the top of the break here. This has been the water polo segment. Unexpected term, but I was good with it. That's something that I don't think too many people really know the whole ins and outs of the sport. So again, if you guys want to join the show, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and Allo channel 951. I'm Harrison Arns. That's Reagan and Madison across the table on the deep end. We'll be back right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop yourself, you'll upgrade your car someday, and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out our lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county Veterans Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog? A cat? Or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them, coming from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
They're on the cusp of probably major announcements. Trev, Albert, CAD will ask for $250 million in the now add 70 maybe and put a roof on it.
Who would get to run the button that retracts the roof and does it? Also,
maybe you'd be the honor.
Yeah, I think you should be the first. Right, it's Bill's idea. Bill gets to do the first.
Here's what I thought. I just always thought it'd be a cool thing to have the retractable roof.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the deep end with Reagan and Madison on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends. I am Harrison Arns, pushing the ones and twos. We got Nebraska Swim and Diver. Reagan and Madison here with us as well. And real quick from the text line over the break, a longtime listener, I'm assuming based on their knowledge, asked, do the Disco Pioneers have any upcoming events? And if you're not aware, that is these guys' second business that, I don't know if you've copyrighted it yet, but you need to get on that. It's picking up steam here.
Our multi-million-dollar business. No, sadly, we don't have any.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, me too.
Someone is definitely going to take that idea now.
No!
There wasn't any weddings, upcoming weddings, where you guys think we need to break this out?
I mean, I have my cousin's wedding in August. Maybe
Set up a table, like a little booth right there, and just like hand out ads during the middle of the wedding. And be like, hey, pass these out.
Pass these out. Yeah, I haven't been to any big events where I would need it. Maybe I could try advertising at my sister's graduation.
There you go.
Disco Pioneers. Disco Pioneers. Anybody.
Yeah.
Just makes me laugh just watching you guys market at the most inopportune times. Just like they're just at a church giving their vows and you're just handing out Disco Pioneers.
That could be part of our brand.
Untimely marketing.
Untimely marketing.
Oh man, the first day of school. In Indiana for you? Or moving into your apartment, giving it to your landlord?
Oh, by the way, I have this business here.
If you need me, give me a call.
Give me a call. You know where I live.
Is Boombox still open or has that changed?
It changed.
Bummer. I was like, that's a good chance right there to get that going for an NIL deal. You connect with Boombox, but they're done. They're done.
I think it's a different bar now.
It's changed quite a few times.
I don't know why. I feel like that's not a bad placement.
It seems like it'd work. You're right next to Academy. Those apartments where I know a lot of the college kids are.
And that's right where, isn't that where the bar is?
Yep, right next to the bar.
And Agave.
Oh yeah, and Agave.
I went to Agave for Cinco de Mayo.
Wow.
Have you guys ever been to that secret room in Boombox? The VIP room?
No.
I've never been in there. I've seen it open one time. That was the first time I realized there's like a VIP room on that top floor. It's like another whole bar and like just a way more chill environment with like couches instead of chairs.
Wow.
Interesting.
How do we get into that?
Well, it's closed. I don't know.
Oh.
Whoever owns it now, they probably still kept it. I mean, it had a full bar in there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sarah Heyman text line. If you guys know what used to be there, they used to be able to go into the VIP lounge. I'm kind of curious to what that looked like. 402-464-5685. But no, yeah, they had a whole VIP section back there. And I don't know who was all allowed in, but I definitely saw a few people going back there. And I just remember peeking in. I was like, what? That's a way better bar in there than what's out here.
Okay, I just want to. So I went to Agave for Cinco de Mayo, and they were having deals on their drinks, and so I went with like my musical theater group because we just performed, and one of the people in my group got one of their things that was on sale, and it was the cucumber jalapeno marg, or whatever.
Doesn't.
And he was like, "Yeah, you can all try it." So we all tried it, and me and one of the other girls looked at each other and goes, "This kind of tastes like Jimmy John's bread." Like at the exact same time. And he tried it again and he was like, "Yeah, I think it's the cucumber." But like,
what?
I don't know how that happened. But like, I had like a mango strawberry thing and that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But like,
cucumber jalapeno.
I don't know how those work together.
No.
Apparently, that's how they get Jimmy John's bread to taste like. Jimmy
Well, I was
John's.
thinking
I
like
don't know. Cucumber
refreshing,
and jalapeno.
like refreshing like cucumber water and then adding
Yeah.
a little bit of spice.
Uh-huh.
But it was a weird combination.
Maybe that's how Jimmy John's is so successful.
And secret recipes, they just soak their bread in jalapenos and cucumbers.
It's actually infused into it.
So that led me to I was thinking like, what is the weirdest combination of something that you've like ever heard?
The
Like of
weirdest
some
combination.
like a food or drink.
I'll never get over chili, dipping your or cinnamon roll in chili.
Okay, I've had that. It's good. I like it. Have you tried it?
Yeah, it's fine. Like it's not a flavor combination that I'm like, oh yeah, I forever need to dip my sweets in my chili.
Okay,
I
I've
can just eat
I've
them
had it
side
like
by side and it
once.
tastes like
I don't
better.
think it's like a game changer and like it should be like the next.
But are you going to be dipping your cinnamon
Chicken and
roll every
waffles.
time from here on out, or are you going to eat them separate?
I have the one time I had cinnamon rolls in chili was the one time I've had cinnamon rolls in chili at the same time.
Yeah, if you move out of Nebraska, it'll probably never happen again. It's a weird staple here. That's the best one I can really think of right now. That, and you guys remember those sour straws?
Yeah.
That and just water. You put a sour. Some people, I never did this, but it was a weird combination because I saw it frequently. They would take the straw and they would suck water through the sour straw. I never did it, but it was popular. So that's a weird combination where I'd say that one probably fits the category.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that too. That's interesting. I can't think of any weird combinations.
The peanut butter burgers are always kind of weird to me.
Oh,
but those are really
yeah.
popular as well. That one just somehow works for some people.
Yeah, peanut butter. I mean, recently I had so I tried the new flavor at 402. It's like it was supposed to be an almond butter base.
What was the name?
I don't remember.
It wasn't the Jason Derulo one, was it?
No.
Okay.
No. But that was a weird combination, having almond butter ice cream.
Yeah. I feel like the textures would not.
No, and it was salty. Salty ice cream. I don't know how I felt about it. I mean, it had good intentions. It had a good description.
Good intentions.
Good intentions, good description, but it wasn't for me.
And from YouTube, someone also said peanut butter and a cheeseburger. Or peanut butter on a cheeseburger. That's always one. Have you guys ever had the peanut butter burgers?
Mm-mm. I've heard of peanut butter on pickles.
Oh. How would the peanut butter even spread? Because the pickle is like watery.
I have no idea.
That doesn't sound good either.
No.
I've never tried the peanut. I feel like I have to try the peanut butter burger once it just doesn't.
Don't
I'm
knock
not
it till you try it.
Yeah, but every time I look at a menu, you know, when you're hungry and you're like, do I want to gamble and try something that I'm going to take like 2 bites out of?
Or do I want to get the mac and cheese?
And then I usually end up with like mac and cheese. But I think that's about all I got. You guys got any other ones before we get out of here?
No.
I can't think of any right now.
I'll bring a couple back next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll have these podcasts in. And again, if you guys aren't paying attention, Madison's going to go here pretty soon. So if you haven't caught Madison yet, she's on her way out here.
Is next week your last week?
Yeah.
Oh, that was really loud. Sorry.
It's all right. It's important, Reagan. We care. That's why it's loud. But nonetheless, definitely check out the podcast because Reagan is not going to be permanent here, unfortunately. But you can always call in or stream in.
Reagan.
Madison.
My name is Madison.
Excuse me, Madison. But nonetheless, check out the podcast and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.